We're ready to continue on with Mississippi State. We'll ask Coach Howland for some general thoughts on the game, take your questions for Reggie and Eric, and then finish up with Coach. So, Coach, would you begin?
Yeah, tough loss for us. I thought we really played tough, physical basketball. It was a very physical game. We went down at 6 at halftime, but we came out and had the game tied there at like 44 all or 45, right in that area. 42 all is what it was. Right there, we had a free throw to tie it again. I think Tyson got fouled on a three. At 46 all, it was 46-45. I think we were down one there. And then they went on that run. And the thing that hurt us were allowing second shots. They got some key second shots that led to baskets. Schofield played great during that period when they made their run to stretch out the lead. I was really proud of our guys' fight, the way they hung in there, the way they fought back once we got down and cut it to 7. Eric came in, gave us a great lift off the bench, knocked down some big threes. But, credit Tennessee. They're a really, really good team. They're either going to be a 2 or a 1 seed based on these next 2 days coming up. And, we're going to get back home and rest the next 2 days and find out who we've got to play in the NCAA tournament on Sunday.
All right, if you have a question for Reggie or Eric, please raise your hand and we'll get a floor microphone to you. Let's start right on the front row on the right.
Eric, Coach just mentioned rest. I know it's, the luck of the draw, but you guys played 2 really late games here in the SEC tournament, and obviously the rotation is a little shorter than it has been throughout most of the regular season. How much was fatigue a factor when Tennessee made their little run there in the second half?
I wouldn't say it was that big of a factor. We've been practicing, and we practice really hard, so the game is not as hard as practice, and that's how we prepare. But I wouldn't say fatigue was that big of a deal.
Okay, question on the left, second row.
Eric, 7 from 9 from the field, 5 for 5 from three-point range. Just how well were you seeing it tonight?
I give all things to my teammates. They refine me, but at the end of the day, I just step up when I'm needed.
The question on the front on the right.
Reggie, you got another double-double today against one of the longest, one of the best front courts in the SEC. How confident are you that no matter who you guys match up with in the NCAA tournament, that you can play with anybody really?
I'm real confident in myself and my team, but I feel like I can go out and get a double-double every night, but double doesn't mean anything if we're not getting the win.
Raise your hand if you have another question. Let's go to the middle, second row here, and then we'll get you next. Oh, over here. Let's go right here.
For both of the players, how nice is it to be a part of a team, disappointed tonight, but to know that for the first time in a decade, getting State into the NCAA tournament and having that to look forward to?
Eric, would you take that first?
I would say it's a great feeling, when me and Q first came here, we came here our goal was to change the program and get it back on top to where it needed to be. And I feel like we accomplished that goal.
Same for Reggie.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great feeling too. It being my freshman year, I feel like that I've accomplished and my team has accomplished a lot of things that I wanted to do as soon as I stepped foot on campus. So I feel pretty good.
Okay, question on the second row there in the middle.
Reggie, Coach talked about how physical this game was. Just how physical was it down there, down low, battling with those guys?
It was real physical. They're one of the most physical teams in the league, and we just wanted to go out and try out physical in them. And we made some good plays, and we made a couple of bad plays. But I feel like as a team, we played pretty well.
All right, we have time for one more question for either student athlete. Anyone? All right, Reggie and Eric will excuse you. You can return to the locker room.
Good job, you guys.
We'll continue with questions for Coach Howland. Raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Raise your hand. Okay, let's start on the right, front row.
Coach, I know Eric said that fatigue probably wasn't a factor, but given what the rotation is right now and heading into the NCAA tournament, how confident are you that the guys can give it their all for 40 minutes and compete? Because it seemed like there was a stretch there in the second half where Tennessee was maybe outworking you guys. I don't know if you felt the same way.
I think the fatigue probably was a factor because we played last night and they didn't. And that's definitely an advantage. We're not going to have any situation here the rest of the year. This is the only time in November when you play in tournaments or this kind of tournament at, postseason where you're playing back-to-back nights. And that definitely was a factor. I felt in the first half. I didn't think it's the second half. I used 2 timeouts in the first half to kind of try to, get us through. And I thought we made that run to start the second half where we got it tied, and that's, there was a key juncture there. But no question, the fatigue was involved tonight, and largely because we played last night, and then you got to turn around and play back-to-back days. I think the NBA does this 15 times a year. It's just amazing to me. But I'm really proud of our team. I'm proud of their fight, how they hung together, how they continue to compete, and even there in the last 3 minutes, we had it down to 7. There was at one point where we had it, I think, to 7. They got a long rebound and got back and scored again. We had our chances even then. So there's no quit, no give up in them at all, and that makes me feel really good.
Hands up. Other questions? Let's go to the left side, second row.
Coach, you lost to Tennessee by 17 10 days ago. What allowed you to play a better game tonight against them?
I thought that we came into this game with momentum, having played really well last night. And, we had won a couple games in a row, 7 of our last 9. So, I thought we were feeling pretty confident. Even though it wasn't a true road game today, it felt somewhat like a road game, and a lot of orange in this arena tonight. But, I'm proud of the way they handled themselves. And, I'm really excited for our team because, every team, all 360 plus going into the year, fighting and hoping to make that tournament at the end of the year. And, as was pointed out tonight, and it's the first time in 10 years, we know we're in, really anxious and curious to find out where they're sending us and where we're seated, but really excited about playing in the NCAA tournament for Mississippi State for the first time in a decade is pretty special and something that we're all striving for. 7 teams I know are getting in out of our league, and that's incredible for the SEC. And, we played a very tough non-conference. A bunch of those teams are getting in too.
There's a question on the right front row. Go ahead.
On the topic of the NCAA tournament, you've taken a lot of teams there in your career. Does this team have some of the tools that some of the teams that you brought deep into those tournaments have had in the past?
We do. And we have a team that, number one, is very talented. I mean, I'm telling you, Tennessee's a 1 or a 2. I mean, they're really, really good. Kentucky and them are right now, 1 and then on the 2 line, I believe. And, that's a very, very good team that we played not on so neutral court. The NCAA is more neutral than this, even though those first 4 seeds are protected. But I feel good about our chances, and I thank God tonight after the game for keeping us, healthy as we go into this. And, that's key for us here this next week. We'll take the next 2 days off. They haven't had 2 days off in a row for their bodies since Christmas time. So this, I think, will really be therapeutic, and especially when we're playing with a shorter rotation than we were earlier in the year, as you pointed out.
Is there a question on the middle aisle? Go ahead.
Yeah, Ben, we all know how great the conference has been this year. You played Kentucky a couple times. You played Tennessee a couple times. I think you lost all 4. It's late at night. Can you go out on a limb and just give us a prediction for tomorrow?
I didn't see Kentucky play today, so I'm not sure of Reed Travis and, how he looked or how he did. He's obviously a key guy because he's the guy that matches up with Williams inside. And they both handily won those 2 games. There'll be a lot of fighting to see who can get more people in this building tomorrow between those 2 programs. I think it'll be a great game. But I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be decided in the final, minute of that game tomorrow. That's how good and that's how close they are. And so it's going to be a great day for SEC tournament to have that as the nightcap tomorrow.
We have time for maybe one more question for Coach. You got one on the far right. Let's go ahead and take it.
Coach, Eric had mentioned yesterday that, talking about the NCAA tournament, that he didn't know he hasn't had this feeling yet before of knowing how to get what it feels like to make the tournament. Looking back on him and Q and what they've done for this program, I mean, have you been able to think about what maybe their reaction might be on Sunday when their name is called?
Well, I think they're going to have an enormous amount of pride. I mean, when we arrived at Mississippi State, it was coming off some pretty tough years consecutively, and to start, and that first year was really tough, and we have gotten improved every year during their 4 years and our 4 years together, and so proud of those two seniors, the leadership they provided, the improvements they've made in their games, but leading these others and really setting this year up. Unbelievable kids, unbelievable families, Eric and Q, and I think they're going to feel very good. But as I told them, we want to go in. It's not just making it. We want to go in and win. That's the key. We want to go in there and perform. They have no doubt this entire team has earned this through a long campaign, and everybody who gets in it is incredibly pumped and excited, and so we're really looking forward to it and want to play our very best game next Thursday or next Friday that we played all season long. But can't say enough about those two, and appreciate you asking that because I just love them both, and I'm gonna realize this is coming to an end here in the next weeks to come, and it's gonna that'll be a lot to reflect upon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.